first and foremost, it delivers a practical user case around AI, which a lot of organizations are struggling to just come to terms with. And the other thing is it can fundamentally change the way a user utilizes Teams and Teams meetings. The ability, and we have a catchphrase that you can review an hour's meeting in 5 minutes. Having the ability to go back and review meetings that maybe you were double booked for or unfortunately missed can be a real game changer for people.
Hi, and welcome to this product briefing on AudioCodes Meeting Insights. Thanks for taking the time. Got two great people to give us a real insight into what Meeting Insights is, funnily enough. I'll start off, John. Could you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name's John Corbett from AudioCodes. My job title is Director of Recording Solutions for EMEA and APAC, and I'll talk to you about the actual product itself.
Awesome. And Richard?
Yeah, hi, my name's Richard Hill. I'm a Senior Solutions Consultant here at Marlin Communications. We're a strong partner with AudioCodes, and we supply Meeting Insights direct to end users.
Yeah, looking forward to quizzing you, Richard. I know you've got some great customers working with it, so you can give us that customer perspective. John, starting with you, let us start from the top. Like, what is Meeting Insights? What is the use case? AudioCodes have such a portfolio of solutions for Teams. This is one of those stories. So, where's it fit?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, as you know, AudioCodes are kind of transitioning from a devices company to much more of a applications type organization, and Meeting Insights is one of our productivity applications, value-add applications to the Teams environment. And Meeting Insights itself is an application that AudioCodes have developed, primarily initially for use in Teams meetings. But you'll find out later on, we're now expanding that out to other platforms as well. And the long and short of it is, it's a really valuable productivity application. You can have it in your meeting. It will record the audio. It will record any content that's been shared. It will then run that through Microsoft generative AI platform to produce automatic meeting summaries, action points, outlines, questions and answers, and any issues that are raised during the call. It's all automatic. It also comes as part of a central repository. So that's really important, and I'll explain maybe later on why that is so important. But if you think about it as like an exchange server, but for your Teams meetings content, and we're finding that the organizations, the beauty around it is there's no one size fits all here. Different types of customers are taking this technology and utilizing it in ways that maybe we hadn't even anticipated to really get the most out of their Teams meetings that they absolutely can.
Yeah, so the headline is kind of AI meeting assistant. It's interesting because AudioCodes obviously have a long heritage of certified compliance recording for Teams as well. So you had the recording engine smarts for years. This is overlaying the AI, but as you just alluded to there's some meaningful differences in how you're approaching this. Obviously, Copilot is the big story in typical personal meeting assistant, but there's a whole bunch of things you're doing around how you collect data, automatically collect data, centralizing the data, leveraging the data, and customer control of that data that's a little bit different. Is that right?
100%. And the other big thing here is, first and foremost, it delivers a practical user case around AI, which a lot of organizations are struggling to just come to terms with. And the other thing is it can fundamentally change the way a user utilizes Teams and Teams meetings. The ability, and we have a catchphrase that you can review an hour's meeting in 5 minutes. Having the ability to go back and review meetings that maybe you were double booked for or unfortunately missed can be a real game changer for people. And it, for me personally, it's fundamentally changed the way that I work with Microsoft Teams meetings as such. I no longer ever have to have a pad next to me, scribbling notes, and then having 6 pads and trying to find the right one. It is a platform that does fundamentally change the way users work with Teams meetings.
Awesome. And Richard, you're here to kind of keep us honest with what's the customer perspective on this. I know we were at an event together recently, and you're a very strong AudioCodes partner, and you had some really good examples of where this has been a hit with customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think over the last 18 months, Teams itself as a solution for video and telephony has really gone through the roof. And what the customers are looking for now are trying to gain advantages, competitive advantages in how they can work more effectively, but more importantly, how to save money, how to save time. And one of the biggest costs in most businesses is staff wages. Now, we are predominantly well known within the legal and finance sectors, and these are people that have roles that are highly paid. And following a Teams meeting, quite often the amount of time that staff spend in administration tasks, writing up meeting notes, and all, whether that's themselves or passing that on to back-end staff to write up notes. If we are able to save people time in doing that, they can repurpose their time and do other things that impact the business as far as their job roles are concerned. So in the real life world, I had an example from one of our clients. I hope you don't mind me naming names, but I've got a lovely client on the South
we love
Coast.
names.
You love names. I've got a lovely client on the South Coast, a mid-sized legal firm that took on Meeting Insights. And after 2.5 months, apart from them raving about the fact that they could take meetings anywhere on their mobile device, it doesn't just have to be meeting room specific. But the fact was that they sent us their own ROI calculator, that they think that they've managed to save enough time in fee earners admin time that the solutions paid for itself within 2 months.
Amazing.
Over the course of a 1-year contract.
Yeah, that's quite a solid ROI for the use case there.
They were absolutely delighted, not just to save money, but the fact is the accuracy of the outputs. Although you can edit any of the output that Meeting Insights gives you, the core accuracy is absolutely phenomenal. So some of the things that our clients really enjoy is that if they wish to review a meeting afterwards, they're able to look not just at the transcription, because nobody looks at the full transcription, but they want to look at specifics. So they can look at which speaker said what. Every speaker will be itemized in that meeting, and it'll be able to lay out and look at everything that John Corbett's just said during this meeting. We can look at specific topics within Meeting Insights. So again, if I wish to review a meeting I had with a client last month or 6 months ago or 12 months ago, I can find that meeting really easily, and I can search the specifics that we spoke about. The other thing that's really useful for our clients is the fact that if they have recurring meetings with their own customers, Meeting Insights can send you the output 24 hours before your next recurring meeting. And that really allows you to plan for tomorrow's meeting. So
nice. This. Do you remember what you said last month? This is what we talked about.
A memory
last month.
jogger, of course. We've all got lots of customers. And the beauty of that is that I use Meeting Insights myself, and my customers think I have the most terrific memory. In reality, I actually don't, but it's the software that helps me to do my job. It helps me to plan for tomorrow's meeting. And at the end of the day, if you are a client that does have 4, 5, 6 Teams meetings in a day, the administration time, if we can reduce that by 90%, then of course it's not going to take me too long to fill in back-end case management systems or back-end CRM systems with my notes. I just simply copy and paste the summary output and place that straight into my CRM system. So these are what our customers are saying to us where they found it particularly useful. Another fantastic story, which is very recent, and you wouldn't have heard this yet, but that same customer, Warner Goodman, they had a meeting with one of their clients very, very recently, and following the meeting, they sent the output to that client. Now, that client is in a completely different business sector. They read the output and got back to Warner Goodman and said, "Where did you purchase that software?" Since then, they've been put in touch with us as the provider of that software for Warner Goodman, and we're now in talks and demonstrating that software to them. So that's the power of how Meeting Insights works.
And that sharing externally is a real big one, actually, because you can share, obviously controlled by the customer, you can selectively share it, but like you get the exact same experience sharing externally as you do internally. You get the video preview, you get the summary, you get the transcript, which is a real strong point. You say if at the end of the meeting you're allowed to share that and the customer partner gets the same experience, that's great.
And you've also got control, of course, as to who you share that and who can actually view that that output.
Yeah.
So you can decide before you share that output who's going to have access to open the output itself.
And that's one of the real benefits of the central repository. You know, if you were doing this with, let's just say, one of the Microsoft platforms, then typically they're individual tools. So it will be saved to the individuals.
Yeah, it's my recap for me.
Absolutely.
But my manager can't see it. I can't see it over a period of time.
But also, it's your responsibility to then go in and collate that information that's been saved to your SharePoint or OneDrive. You know, tie it up with the actual presentation material itself and any actions that came out of it. You have to collate all that yourself and then distribute it in the normal way as you would distribute an email, rather than just a few clicks within the Meeting Insights application. And as Rich said, you know, you have completely at your control what you share and how you share it.
What does that central repository look like, John, to use? Obviously, we can understand the concept for people listening or watching of a summary on a web page. Like, how's that work?
The best scenario I can give you is if you think about your Exchange server for your Outlook emails. You know, if I was to ask you, Tom, find an email from a year ago, it'd maybe take you 20 seconds. If I was to say to you, you know, share all the contents of a team meeting you had last week, you'd maybe struggle. But with Meeting Insights, you kind of go into the platform, the GUI, and you're presented with a Outlook-esque type view of all of the Teams calls that you've not just conducted yourself, but been invited to or had shared with you. There are a number of filters. You can search by name, subject, you know, if it's been shared externally, things like that. So it's a very, very familiar experience to people that use common email platforms. You know, that whole central repository piece is one of the key areas that kind of sets it apart from a lot of the other meeting note takers that are out there, including the Microsoft platforms themselves. You know, as Rich mentioned, you know, the prep for my day, it's something that's really useful for people that have recurring meetings to be sent all of the actions from the last meeting and the notes from the last meeting, you know, in advance of your next meeting. As Rich said, you kind of go on there and people think, wow, he really remembered that call last time, when actually you've been sent a brief on exactly what it was. And it's just one of the features that's coming. There are, as we move forward, one of the things you're going to hear a lot about Meeting Insights is UC agnostic. So this started as a Microsoft Teams platform. We've already implemented Zoom meetings into into Meeting Insights itself. So you can now use Meeting Insights on Zoom meetings. As we move forward, you'll see Google Meet and WebEx added to the platform as well.
Okay, so for those that are multi-UCAS shops,
absolutely,
they can have a single experience and single solution for the
absolutely content. And then the integration with CRM platforms. So it already natively supports Planner, and we've already got integration with Monday.com. I've been trialing the interface with Salesforce.com. And that works really well. So if you're in an organization that uses Salesforce, and let's be fair, lots of us do, you can have a call with a customer. And then at the end of that call, if you use Meeting Insights on the call, literally with a couple of clicks of the mouse, the whole meeting summary gets dropped into the periodic update for the opportunity for that customer within Salesforce. So, you know, I've trialed that, I've played it. That's going to be commercially released very soon. But I mean, things like this are where AudioCodes see the product developing, you know, open it up to the widest possible audience and the most common used applications. You know, we've spoken to Marlin about case study software that legal companies use.
Yeah, the case management systems. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And we've spoken to Marlin and done some research ourselves, and we'll be looking to provide integration to the most common case management systems that's now obviously there's loads of them, so we have to pick our integrations wisely.
Yeah.
But we will work with Marlin and their customers and others to say, right, okay, these are the 2 or 3 key case management platforms that we need to look at for integration. And I think that's going to completely broaden the market for Meeting Insights beyond just Microsoft Teams, which is where we started. And then really, Tom, I guess the world's your oyster in terms of then the addressable market for the
Yeah, it's
platform.
definitely an interesting conversation. Once you get into, we can integrate into your line of business platforms like Salesforce, like case management, and also the fact you can set this up to say it's recording by default. So I'm getting, because of course I'm getting a recording of the meeting as well as my summary and all the AI capabilities here. That's some power and some differentiation there.
I think, Tom, one of the big things that helps really Meeting Insights sell itself is, as a business and as a manufacturer, we offer proof of concepts. And it's during those proof of concepts that we've done our own due diligence. We're a solutions provider, we're vendor agnostic, which is a great starting point because we can really talk to clients about the pros and cons of different software. So when we were heading out in our own journey looking at this type of software, we've done all of our own due diligence on Copilot, which we use as a business, but not specifically for meetings. We've looked at Business Premium, we looked at Meeting Insights, we've looked at others, and we selected Meeting Insights, and we feel we've made the right choice. And the reason being, when we run a proof of concept for a client now, they are unbelievably amazed at how simple the product is to use. And I can promise you, when you work within particular sectors, their prime business goal is to do their own business, not to be messing around with technology that is complex, or they might forget to press a button to make something work. And I think that's a real big key for customers, that if you've got something that is an affordable price point, the ROI is almost immediate, and it's simple to use and reliable and accurate. The proof of concepts, when we run those, I had a different customer, another legal firm actually in London called Seddons. Now, we offered them a 30-day proof of concept for the software, and within 2.5 days, their head of IT phoned us and said, yes, we'd like to go ahead and proceed just after 2.5 days. So I asked them, obviously, what were the reasons behind that? They said simplicity, accuracy. Everybody that's already used it within 2.5 days have seen where they can save time in their job roles, and that's why we want to proceed immediately. They didn't want to wait until the end of the proof of concept to roll this out to the wider business. That's
awesome. And John, there's data here, and Richard mentions quite a few legal firms here, like people are sensitive to that stuff, but this is AudioCodes, so I'm assuming it's ISO, SOC 2, Type 2, Azure, like all those boxes that people are going to want to know.
This is hosted by AudioCodes, so all of the security certifications that we have on our hosted platforms are aligned with Meeting Insights as well. So yeah, absolutely. Everything you would expect, ISO, SOC 2 is in place for this platform. Awesome. And if you don't mind, just coming back to something Rich said there, and I will address an elephant in the room: simplicity, ease of use. This is something we hear time and time again around Meeting Insights. You effectively add Meeting Insights to your meeting, and then you don't actually have to do anything. Now, there is an interactive sidebar you can have in the meeting where you can add manual notes, aid memoirs, highlight portions of that call to see later on. But even if you didn't do that, there is no other intervention required for you to get the comprehensive summary, outline, action points at the end of the call. I will head you off at the pass here, Tom, and I'll talk about how that differs from some of the platforms out there, particularly things like Microsoft Copilot, Teams Premium, things like that. Now,
yeah, it's the obvious comparison for a Microsoft customer, right? Isn't it? It's like Microsoft have meeting summaries, so it's a good question. Why would a customer look at Meeting Insights potentially?
So look, first and foremost, Meeting Insights is not a competitor to Copilot. 100% not. Copilot does so much more. It provides functionality across the whole Microsoft application suite. I guess it's nearer to Teams Premium, but again, Teams Premium has a lot of features around the Teams waiting room and bits and pieces like that. We genuinely do not see it as a competitive product to either of those. And in some ways, it's a complementary product to Copilot, because if you're getting a lot of the output sent to your email inbox, you can use Copilot to go and sanity check that email inbox and pull out all of the relevant information that you've received from Meeting Insights and present it to you in date order and things like that. So that for us, first and foremost. I guess the real big difference that we see between Copilot and Meeting Insights is Copilot, and Teams Premium, for all intents and purposes, is effectively a personal chatbot. So you have to sit there and you have to type in the prompts and tell Copilot and Teams Premium what it is you want to do. And look, it's great at that. But the feedback we've had is, particularly in Teams meetings where you want to pay attention to the content of the meeting, it gets a little bit distracting for the meeting owner to be sitting there, right, I need to run this prompt now, I need to ask for a summary at the end, and I need to run this. It just gets a little bit onerous at times. And it comes back to the whole simplicity piece, being able to have it sitting there in the meeting, but then give the meeting your full attention is invaluable. So, we get asked this all the time, Tom. It's probably the number one question we get asked when we're presenting this to customers. How does it compare to Copilot and Teams Premium? And in some ways it doesn't. In some ways it does. Yes, you've got meeting summary in Teams Premium, but you've only got meeting summary if you put the right prompts in at the right time.
Yeah, and I think the extensibility we've touched on here is a thing where you start to, there's a difference there. So being able to push data proactively into a case management system or a third-party CRM or whatever, that's really interesting. And then the how you manage that data as well is slightly different as well. So I appreciate you having that conversation head on, John, because that's the conversation everybody wants to have. And it's nice to know that you've got some points.
One of the analogies that, in fact, one of my colleagues came up with this, so I'm not going to take complete credit for it, is Copilot is more like a Swiss Army knife with all of the features and functionalities, whereas Meeting Insights is like a chef's paring knife. It's a very specific tool for a very specific job, as opposed to the Swiss Army knife, which provides really good functionality across a plethora of different applications and environments. Meeting Insights targets what it does, and it does it very well.
Awesome.
Will it ever compete with things like Copilot? Of course not. Of course it won't. But because they do similar things, there is an overlap. It's a question we always get asked.
Yeah. And if people want to, like, if we pique their interest and they want to trial this out, Richard mentions about trials there. How's that work?
Yeah. So from a trial perspective, if people wish to contact Marlin, they're more than happy to contact myself, and we will arrange the proof of concept. Generally, we suggest 30 days. The number of staff that want to be participating in this proof of concept, it generally works very, very well between sort of 10 and 30 staff that want to trial this solution. So we would work with AudioCodes and work with the end user to get this set up and underway. We'll be hand-holding to start with, and then just letting them free with the solution to try that solution, staying in touch throughout that 30 days to the point where a client makes a decision. So you can contact us, you can contact AudioCodes directly, but if you wish to work with a reseller, then we would be more than happy to partner with the end user on this.
Yeah, look, Marlin are one of our most trusted partners when it comes to Meeting Insights. So absolutely, if an end customer comes to us and has no preference, we're more than happy to introduce them to Marlin. Occasionally, we get customers say, "Well, no, we only buy from X or Y," and then we will try.
AudioCodes have a big partner network, don't you? So there's probably and a big kind of coverage globally as well. So you probably.
AudioCodes always sell through partners, but we always try to default to the partner we think is going to deliver the best experience around that technology to the end customer. And Marlin are absolutely kind of top of that list for us at the moment. So we're more than happy to introduce and do joint sessions like this and the show we were at recently with Marlin, because we recognise the value Marlin bring to the position of this product in the marketplace.
Awesome. Well, thanks both for taking the time to explain that. Really appreciate the conversation. And Richard, thanks for giving that customer insight. That's always the key thing, is how it's working with the customers. If you want to find out more, we've got links below to get you to Meeting Insights and details for John and Richard. But for now, thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, Tom.
Cheers, Tom.